YouTube, it is I, Sakarma, here again with another 1v1 action at a total Brohammer. I am ahead of the Norsca with Wulfric the Wanderer against the High Elves, who are headed by, I don't know, a lord, and Cam. So let's go over the builds right quick, my least favorite part of the battle, as we all know. So I've got a Marauder Horseman with throwing axe on either flank. I've got one Norsca Ice Wolves, or maybe two, just one. I've got Wulfric with a Chariot. I've got the Familiar Balefin of Shadows, a couple of Familiar Balefins with Familiar Warriors rather with great weapons, 3 of them to be exact. Brutes of the Hound, great unit. Marauder Spearmen, Marauder Great Weapons, Marauder Spearmen, Marauder Great Weapons, Marauder Spearmen, and that's about the composition of my army. That about covers it. On my opponent's side, he's got a Dragon, he's got a Prince, he's got a couple of Lothran Seaguard with no shields. He's got Silver Helms on either side, again shieldless. And then 5 Spearmen in the front line. No regiments around, maybe they don't have the Queen of the Crone DLC. And then, of course, a Mage of Life alongside a White Line of Thrace. So let's get the battle rolling. So right away, I'm looking at his composition, I'm thinking, this could be trouble. I mean, I obviously have the infantry advantage, but he's got a lot of ranged. He's got, good mobility with his cav. And he does have the Dragon and the Noble, who can be decent against Familiar Balefins. Familiar Warriors. But we'll see. Of course, they can also hunt down Wulfric. Wulfric is not equipped to fight either of these monsters. So yeah, I even think this Noble will be able to dumpster him on his own. So I have to be very, very careful with Wulfric. You can see he's trying to go after Wulfric right away, but I do have him with some Familiar Balefins here, and I have the Marauder Horseman. If he had landed him, he would have been dead. So it's a good move by my opponent to pull back a little bit. Let's speed up and get the battle started a little bit faster. There's a little bit of posturing, so we're going back and forth. I'm aggressively coming around this flank. He's moved both his cav onto this side. That's fine with me. I don't want to attack straight on, only because there's so many ways they can do some damage. We have Marauders with great weapons here, not champions. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. Another Marauders with great weapons on that side. Over here we're pathing around with the Marauder Horseman, and Wulfric gets a nice. That's not Wulfric, that's a Brohammer, and just wipes out that little line of archers, which is just fantastic for me. A big get. I do have the Familiar Balefin in the front, which I don't mind. He's going to get hit by this Noble, but does not have bonus versus large on the Eagle, so that's fine with me. Wulfric, meanwhile, is going through the path set out by the Brohammer, just wreaking his own form of devastation. Our Spearman engaged with his Spearman. That's going to be a treacherous fight. That's going to favor nobody. Meanwhile, he has left these Spearmen out in the open. They are doing damage to my Marauder Horseman, but that's only going to last for so long. And we're going to get a nice kill. Seafarer comes through here and does some damage on this guy. Or it's going to come through. Did come through, so it did about, a third. So a good little Seafarer right there. He is doing some serious damage on my Balefin now that he brought his Dragon in. But I do get Hunter of Champions in there to try and protect him. I always seem to lose these Balefins. I don't know why. I'm so bad at protecting my Balefins. I guess I think they're tankier than they really are. This is a great engagement for him. He's got his Spearman on my Familiar Balefin. That is not good for me at all. But we are breaking through this flank. I am aggressively pushing into his cav. He's sending his cav here. Bad idea. These are Familiar Great Weapons, Brutes of the Hound, and Norsca Ice Wolf. This is not elite cav. This is mid-tier cav, so they're going to get absolutely dumpstered. That was a big misplay on my opponent's part, if I could say so myself. But we have been able to do some serious damage on the Prince with the help of the Familiar Balefins. And a little bit of Wulfric damage. Wulfric isn't, he's no joke. I mean, even on the Chariot, he's still pretty dangerous. And the Dragon's just getting smoked by these Familiar Balefins. Sorry, I keep calling them Familiar Balefins. Familiar Warriors. Of course, with their bonus versus large and their armor sundering abilities, it's just not a good day to be a Dragon. Considering he only has 70 armor to begin with. And of course, even though these guys are RNG large, they will lose to Familiar Balefins. There's just not a whole lot they can do. Wow. Familiar Warriors. I'm just going to call them Familiar. They will lose to Familiar, as you can expect. These Marauder Great Weapons, not the greatest fight against Spearmen, but they'll do okay. Now that these guys have some Spearman support, they'll do better because they're mucked up. As we can see, we left this about 20 seconds ago, and these Silver Helms are destroyed. There was just no reason to send them into this battle. Just too many units that can just do too well against them. So we're breaking through on the right flank. He is trying to hunt down Wulfric with this Noble, but we're going to catch him here with these Marauder Horsemen, and then I'm going to use these Familiar Balefins to do some damage. Jesus Christ, Carmen, get your shit together. Over here we've got some Familiar Warriors going at it against these Lothran Seaguard. We've got these Spearmen fighting Familiar Warriors and Marauder Spearmen and some Marauder Great Axes. They have been able to, get rid of my Familiar Balefin. Oh well. And he's using his Mage of Life to pretty much heal up his Dragon to full, which is a smart move. Of course, I have no healing on my side. I get a nice Seafarer again going through here and hitting a few of the Knights. Of course, Silver Helms will be unaffected by it largely, but still, it's not a bad little move. He's trying to run away, but I'm going to get my Wolves in here along with Wulfric to try and do some good damage. Wolf and Wulfric. Yeah, you can see the noble is in, again, bad shape. He's in a wrong fight. These are all anti-large, basically, except for the Boots of the Hound, who have really high melee stats. So, again, not a good fight for him. I think they were rampaged a moment ago, but I will start force packing them through here. Wulfric is fighting these Silver Helms. He's going to do a lot of damage to them, so I like that battle. He has the dragons over here. His dragon, which is his, basically the heaviest hitting part of his army now, considering he didn't have any armor-piercing missiles. And, yeah, he's trying to deal with these Famir Balefiends, but they are just such a good unit. Famir, fuck, yeah, damn it, Sakarma, god damn it. So the Famir are doing good damage to the prince here, and he's really not, again, not a good fight. Even with regrowth, he's at his healing cap, so that's kind of a waste of magic almost. He's at 40 armor, and these guys are going to do tons of damage, and they have pretty high melee stats, especially against large, so it's just bad news for the dragon. The dragon being one of the few units that actually has, I think it's a sun dragon, this one, but one of the few units that actually has, like, reasonable melee stats, considering the large unit. Like, melee defense of 44 is pretty high for a monster that's, look how big this thing is. How hard could it be possibly to hit? I mean, I get give it a ton of health and all that, and maybe even more armor, but it should be really easy to hit. It's fucking massive. Kolek is another silly unit. He's got like 60 melee defense. Ridiculous. Guy's like 3 stories. Like he's like the size of a small condo building. It's kind of ridiculous. He gets a nice flame attack here into the Brutes of the Hound. Really good use of that that ability. Over here, we're chasing off his noble. Make sure he doesn't come back, because he does, of course, have the Mage of Life. He is trying to get Wulfric, and Wulfric is saying waste no time and running away, because that is not a fight I want to be in. I want to be near my nice Famirs. My sweet Famirs. We're going to help him and try and put this dragon down. And now that he is stuck against these Famir, it's a bad news. He is getting good shots on Wulfric, but Wulfric is going to try and dipsy-do around and, keep him around. He's going to heal his dragon. Again, that's a mistake because he is at the healing cap, unless that's just a mistake. No, yeah, he puts regrowth, so that's a waste of magic because he is at the healing cap, as you can tell by that line. So I guess my opponent's a little new. He should have healed himself, but I don't think it really would have mattered in the end of the day because there's not a whole lot he can do. We do have the dragon trying to escape, but we're getting a few hits on him, He is going to take to the air just before the wolves can get him, and that's going to be a good little pickup for him. But over here, we've caught his Light Whisper, we've caught his Spearman. They've lost pretty much everything else they have, and yeah, I just have all my Famirs are still around. I mean, they're damaged, of course, but any one of these guys could probably beat the dragon one-on-one. Wulfric is forced to flee. That's fine. Other than that, we're gonna get rid of his life magic. Not that there's much he can do with his life magic at this point. He's at the healing cap, and there's not enough models there to really make a difference. Only 14. We're gonna get a nice charge of these spearmen. Hopefully, rout them quickly. No, there we go. Rout them, so that's good. Actually, shattering them, so that's solid. The only thing I had to really concern myself with here is a terror rout and flame breath attacks. If you got one good flame breath and a couple good charges, he could tear at us. But I think at this point, it's going to be a Sakarma victory. When he decides to land the dragon, it will be over for him. So he lands the dragon there, and once he's down on the ground, that's going to be it for him. We're going to get him with the wolves, who are going to slow him, and then the Famir Balefiends. Once they get in there, there's not a whole lot he can do. Of course, he does have that really ridiculous animation. He can just jump through units, but once we get in there, oof, nice little hit on there, and we're going to bring this guy down. And he's actually going to flee. And that'll be GG. So, good game to my opponent there. What was his name again? Cam. Sweet. Very sweet little Cam. So yeah, GG. It was a fun little battle. We're seeing this matchup a lot because the Queen and the Crone, Norsca, are a new faction, and High Elves got the biggest, I would say, boost in the most recent DLC. Of course, the Dark Elves got a huge boost as well, but Dark Elves were already top tier, and I think people prefer High Elves to Dark Elves. I would say I see High Elves played a lot more on ladder than Dark Elves. I just think people prefer High Elves. They're just more fun. I think a little more flavorful. I don't know, more flavorful. Their flavor is more palatable, so to speak. I mean, it's easier to relate to like haughty, arrogant assholes who are trying to do good than to like people who just have murder orgies all the time and like bathe in blood and eat babies and like I don't know, just the most absurd extremes of evil. Like they watch themselves like they jerk off themselves, like a video of themselves eating babies of like their worst enemies, or like they're not even their worst enemies, of like their best friends. Like that's how evil they are. Just it's the most ridiculous they can get. Of course, it is Warhammer universe, but what can you do? Anyways, I digress. GG to my opponent. Brutes of the Hound, 110 kills, solid. 100 kills on these guys, pretty good, better than I would expect. I guess they were fighting Spearmen, but still, I wouldn't imagine them to do that well. Norsca Ice Wolf did very well, and of course these guys are the meat and potatoes. 3 chevrons on those guys. I don't know if I showed them up before, but still very, very good. Yeah, these guys are the meat and potatoes of the Norscan army. Probably the best units on Norsca, I would argue. Very, very good unit. High armor, armor sundering, good damage, good stats. A little too good, maybe. They'll probably need a little bit of a nerf, but it can be dealt with. They can be dealt with. Anyways, GG to my opponent, Cam, and hope to see you guys around the bend.